I got probably 5 questions in various forms this week about what do I do? How do I let my house go back? And you got to remember, folks, when you're dealing with a home, you're dealing with 2 specific subjects. You're dealing with the title problems and you're dealing with the money problems. So that's 2 different hands. Some of the options out there deal with one of them and not the other. We need to deal with both, obviously. So let's talk. What are your options? Normally when you're going to give a house back, you can approach your lender, whoever that may be, or the servicer, whoever that may be, and say, look, I'm having a problem. I can't afford my house, or I just simply don't want it anymore because it's worth $100,000 and I owe $250,000. How do we resolve this? Well, the lender may try to work out something where they want you to do a modification, or they want you to do this, or want you to do that. Let's just say none of it's successful. You're down to your last thing, your last options. What are they? You can attempt to short sale the property. I like short sales. I think that's a good way to resolve every issue between you and your lender, because when you sell the property, you're actually transferring ownership to a third party. Likewise, you have an opportunity to negotiate the debt problem. If it's on a homestead, you may be entitled to some tax loophole, which you won't get hit with a tax problem. Great. When we have that problem in our office, I always refer our clients out to a third-party tax professional. Whether you want to see a CPA or a tax attorney, I'm not worried about it because I'm going to refer you to them. I don't do tax issues. I don't want any tax issues in my office except bankruptcy issues, but that's another matter. So what happens now is, in a short sale, you're transferring to a third party and we're resolving a deficiency either on a first mortgage or a second mortgage or an HOA. Basically, all the players are being brought together. You're transferring the property and hopefully the debt issues are going to be resolved. Normally they should be, and my clients walk away knowing everything's been handled. Bing, bang, boom, we're done, we're out there. Second option, a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Now, if it's handled properly, a deed in lieu can take care of both things, because a deed is transferring ownership back to the bank or to the lender, whoever it may be. You're transferring ownership to them and they're probably going to sell it to somebody else. But you're saying, hey, whatever ownership interest I have in this, I'm signing it away back to you. Now it comes out of my name and I don't have to worry about homeowners associations. I don't have to worry about future tax bills because I don't own the property anymore. If it's handled properly, a deed in lieu can also resolve the money issues. But most oftentimes when people come to see me, all they've done is transferred ownership away and they gave the house back to the bank and said, you deal with it. And then they come to me and say, well, wait a minute, why am I getting hit with a bill? I gave them the house back. Well, you resolved half of it, but you didn't resolve the monetary issue. The monetary issue is the bigger problem. Because let's say you had an investment property on Fort Myers Beach. You bought a bungalow, paid $150,000 for it, and now it's worth $75,000. And you say, hey, you know what? The bank's willing to take ownership back. Well, that's fantastic. They take ownership back. But then the bank sells it for $75,000 and they come after you and say, you owe me $75,000. Here's a lawsuit. Yeah, that's what walks into my door. And I say, technically they're right because you never resolved the financial issues. And had you given it back to them and requested a 1099 or some type of closure on the money issues, it could have been resolved. Maybe the bank wouldn't have worked with you. I don't know. There's 100 scenarios out there with this. That's why I'm kind of leery on deed in lieu of foreclosures unless everything's tied up in a nice little package and my client walks away happy.